Founded in 1682 by William Penn, Europeans first settled in Pennsylvania in 1637, although several tribes of indigenous people occupied the land for centuries before this. Pivotal in the French and Indian Wars, the 7 Years' War, the American Revolution, and the United States Civil War, it is no surprise that with such a rich history, our state has developed a culture that is distinctive and multifaceted. Full of legends and real-life heroes who risked everything for their beliefs, today Pennsylvania retains strong elements of folk culture developed by a combination of ideologies practiced by the varied ethnicities of original settlers, Native Americans, and shared experiences. Legends and lore passed down over centuries reveal philosophies that are as superstitious as they are religious and even scientific, resulting in a microculture found nowhere else. You are listening to Pennsylvania Life, Legends, and Lore, where we believe that behind every great story, there is a nugget of truth. In each episode, your hosts, Ethan and Holly, will attempt to uncover that truth and preserve a part of our incredible Pennsylvanian lifestyle.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Pennsylvania Life, Legends, and Lore.
As always, I'm Holly, and with me today we have...
Ethan.
Sometimes he skips out on me, so he's back this week.
I am back this week, yes.
And today we have a special guest on with us. So we have Sarah here from Gilly's Lilies, and we're going to be, interviewing her a little bit today to figure out about her business and what she does. She is a floral designer in the Mifflinburg area, so we're going to pick her brain a little bit and
learn about her business.
That's right. Let's hop in.
Okay. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's the first time I've done one of these.
Yes.
It's very exciting.
They are. They get, I enjoy doing them, and they're different. But they're a lot of fun. So you're originally not from the area.
No. So I knew we were going to start off with that.
Yes.
Because my accent is not central Pennsylvanian. I'm originally from northwest England, about 2 hours north of Manchester. And I moved to central PA about 8 years ago now, and it's just been a whirlwind ever since. I absolutely love it. Some people are like, oh my gosh, do you miss England? I'm like, no, I love it here. It's very similar in some ways. Where I'm from was quite rural as well. And yeah, so that's where I'm from, Northern England.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yes.
That'd be such a fun place to go sometime.
Yeah, you should go.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
This is not, because I've heard it is not a valid representation of England, but we have started watching Ted Lasso, or we've watched Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I feel it's a good representation.
Is it?
A little bit. I mean, football and
And since we've watched that, I have even been on the, hey, it would be really cool to go over and just see everything. And Clarkson's farm.
Yeah.
So we'll be reaching out to Sarah then later on for more
I can help you plan your
planning trips. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to become a floral designer?
So my family had flower shops growing up, so I was always around flowers from a very young age. My mum was really into interior design, and I also did like that as well. And so I've always had a art and design background. Growing up, I went to school for art and design, and long story short, I ended up working at a summer camp in southern New Hampshire. I was a head of the art department there, and I came over on a student exchange visa when I was 19 and never went back. I mean, I came back and forth a lot, but I ended up meeting my husband here, and we moved here, and so I'm a resident here now. So
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, mainly my mom inspired me to become a floral designer, and that's what inspired my love for going into the art, the art background and moving with media as my flowers as my media kind of thing. And so I ended up working with kids for a little bit. I nannied, of course, British nanny for a while, and then my mum unfortunately passed away in 2013. And so I'm like, okay, I want to get back into designing flowers again and kind of make a business. And that helped me with my grief. Like making the flowers has been helped me a lot.
Absolutely.
To process that. And I'm like, I need to start a business. So 2016, I went online. I bought my email, gillieslilies.com. And I'm like, okay, I want to do this. And I just started working from my home for a while. This was out in Colorado before we moved here. And then the rest is history.
Wow.
So, yeah, now we're retail and now we're expanding and growing, and
that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Now, is this your only shop here in Mifflinburg?
It is my only shop. I started off in Lewisburg originally from my house.
Okay.
And I was looking for a retail space for a long time. I was looking in Lewisburg, I looked in Sunbury, and a friend of mine came to me and said, there's this really great building in Mifflinburg. And I'm like, Mifflinburg, okay. And the space was awesome. And so we ended up moving in right after the pandemic. Because it used to be a flower shop. Barb's bouquets.
Yes,
and
it was a flower shop for a long time.
And so I already had the flower fridge in there, and we had, at that point, we'd had 57 weddings booked. And I'm like, I need to get space. Yeah, we're like, we need space.
Yeah.
And so we moved in pretty quickly, and then we started off in one room of the building, and now we're in 5.
Wow.
And we're blowing out the back too, and we're expanding. So
wow, so you're growing fast.
We're growing very fast.
Good.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's good. It's a good problem.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of answered the question. What drew you to Mifflinburg? You just happened to find a spot there, and that's what worked. And what we have dealt with you, it seems like it has gone really well.
Yeah. No, it's gone really well. We're, like I said, we're expanding. I, as a small business owner, you find this with any small business, is that you want to just do what you started off doing. Like, I really wanted to do flowers for such a long time, and I really want to, when I go in, do flowers, but sometimes when you're a small business owner, you have to do other things. And so you go in and you have to answer phones and emails and work on insurance or tax or, all the behind the scenes accountant stuff that is really not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, I do more of those roles now, and then we hire floral designers that can help with weddings and events and things like that too, because we are growing and we have 57 weddings, and it's not humanly possible for one person to do everything all the time. So
where do you see the future of Gilly's Lilies going?
That's a good question. So I thought about this a lot, and 2024 is definitely, we are working more on our brand, and we're working more with the younger crowds, the younger generations. We are hiring a social media manager to help with TikToks, Reels, videos, content. This podcast is really helpful because it gives you a little insight into who I am, what we do, why we do it, and that's really important for a small business too, and for people to see that, because
all the different ways that you have to reach the young generation now.
Yep. And that gets sales, and that helps people to see, like, I really like her, I like what she stands for, and so I want to buy from her. And then I think it works like that with a lot of small businesses too.
Absolutely.
So,
would you ever expand the business?
For now, I'm happy just to keeping it where it is, but maybe in the area. I know that there's a lot of florists in the area. Maybe we could, but I think for now we're quite happy where we're at.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know about you. The name Gilly's Lilies.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
So I kind of briefly touched on that with the first question you asked, but my mom's name was Jill.
Oh, okay.
And so her name is spelled with a G and not a J. And so I think, there's a little confusion there with Gilly's. I do go by Gilly's Lilies too. That's totally fine. But yeah, Gilly's Lilies. Jill was my mom's name, and that's when she passed away, that's when we started the business Gilly's Lilies, and it was like in honor of her.
Perfect.
So, and we do get a lot of questions like, who is this person? Like, your name's not Jill or Gail. I'm like, no, my name is Sarah. My mom's name is Jill. And so they're like, oh, do you just do lilies? I'm like, no, I just kind of thought it was cute.
Yeah.
We do like lots of flowers and lots of different designs and that kind of thing. So yeah, we do get, that's like a really good icebreaker, I think, when people come in.
Absolutely.
And they're like, you're not from here. Where are you from?
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, that's where we're starting, and hopefully for many more years to come, we can keep it going in her name, and maybe hopefully my kids will keep it going too. So we'll see.
Okay.
Another legacy for us.
I was gonna say, I kept calling it Gilly's Lilies, and
totally
Ethan's
fine.
like, no, he's like, that's not what it is. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I bet you get that a lot just from this area when people look at it and
for sure.
like, yeah. But now hopefully we're reaching out to people who will hear this, and then they'll have, a better understanding of the name of it, and hopefully we'll call it properly.
We look at it very American.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then I do get asked the question too. I don't know if you guys are Harry Potter fans, but they're like, well, and is it Gilly's weed and not Gilly's weed? And I'm like, I don't know. It's a question for J.K. Rowling. Like, I have no idea. We're like, we've been pronouncing this G wrong the whole time.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's probably free entertainment for you.
Yeah. No, it's great. And like I said, Gilly's Lilies is totally fine too. Whatever works.
You understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
So it's a peak time for us to do this podcast as we're entering probably one of your busier times with Valentine's Day coming up. So does that tend to be one of your busier times?
So Valentine's Day is our biggest holiday. Then we do have Mother's Day as well, which is also one of our bigger holidays. Wedding season, I want to say, is not really a season anymore. It's kind of year round. We do have a lot of venues in the area that hold weddings like year round. So I feel like I said, with 57 weddings, we kind of had I think mostly every weekend last year was booked.
Wow.
This year we have around 20 bookings for weddings, so not as many. But again, they start from March. So March until fall is like a really busy wedding season, and multiple every weekend. So usually between March and November is a lot of weddings, wedding-related things. But yeah, biggest is Valentine's Day and Mother's Day for holidays. Too. Easter used to be busier, but no one really buys many flowers, I don't think. Maybe they're growing their own, I'm not sure. But Easter can be a little bit busier, but mainly Valentine's Day is our biggest.
Now, our Valentine's Day, do you do like a lot of the typical like roses and things, or do you kind of do your own bouquets and things?
We do. We try and encourage people to do something different. I mean, the roses are great, but they're so generic, and there's a lot of the florists that kind of do the same, a dozen roses in a vase of baby's breath. We're like, oh, we've got these great...
It's kind of boring.
It's kind of boring. And so we're like, when people come in, we do have like different things like proteas, which are like a tropical South African flower. We have nice roses, we have like garden roses, we do lots of like different fillers like wax flower, like things that people are not used to. And so when they come in, like, actually I really like that, and I'm like, okay, good, because it's like not baby's breath or like not carnations, like this is something different. If people really want baby's breath and roses, we'll do it, but it's not really like our go-to. Like we like to do, I think with Gilly's Lilies, is that we do have different stems, and we inspire people when they come in to like look at our stuff and get creative with other flowers that they wouldn't normally see in Central PA.
Yeah.
So the guys of the area can step it up with minimal creative effort.
Right. Yeah, call us and be like, what do you guys think? And it is great.
I may have already taken a few.
No, it's just, it is nice because a lot of people, especially in this area, coming from the UK, is that flowers has always been a big thing. We used to get flowers in from Holland like every week. It's a big growing area in Europe. And so in England's a big growing culture. Around here, people are not used to ordering flowers. So, or maybe they used to in the 80s and they haven't ordered since. And so when the people call me, like, I have no idea what to do. Like, how much are flowers now? What can I get for $40? Like, what can I get for $75? Is it going to look nice? Do you have carnations? I'm like, I do, but like, we can do something different. So there's like a lot of like, now we're back open in Mifflinburg. There never was a flower shop there for, since 2019. But even before then, I think people just didn't order flowers, or they ordered them online. And now we are seeing people come back to calling a flower shop and asking what we have in stock or what's in season or what's new, which is nice.
So is it better for somebody to come in and like place an order? Do you have bouquets available like all the time, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have bouquets for coming in and grabbing, or we can make something super quick.
Okay.
So if you ever go into our flower shop, it's kind of like an Apple store where everything's out in the open and we work in front of you. Mm-hmm. We have a huge desk in the middle, and so people can like see what we have, and it's very like interactive of like, oh, I actually like that flower, can you add that in there? Or it's like very bespoke. Mm-hmm. It's not, we do have some things that are pre-made, but a lot of the time we make things like specifically to what people want. Perfect. So we do have a few grab and goes, but we do have a website that people can book online or just call. Mm-hmm. Most of the time we get calls.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of calls that are people are just like, hey, just surprise me?
Yeah, we do. And we like what you do. We see what you've done. Mm-hmm. We trust you. We love your work. It's different. Like, whatever you think, like, designer's choice. That's, like, my favorite client. Because it's like, oh, okay, great.
They give you, like, a price point, and you can just have your own creative design with it.
And so that's what I really enjoy about when people look online and type in flower shop near me. We come up and we have pictures on our Google search so people can see what we kind of do. And it is a little bit different. Our pictures are our own. Mm-hmm. Our designs are our own. And everything's made in-house. So it's not like a generic picture that you would get with every florist.
Right,
It's a little different. So people are like, oh, we actually like that. So if we can get something similar to that, that's great. We trust you. Make whatever you want.
That's perfect. Now, I have a personal question. Yes. I'm kind of veering off topic here. I am terrible with flowers. Like, is there a way to, like, make your bouquet last longer?
Yeah, we do have longer lasting flowers. So, roses are really good as long as you change. I know one of the questions was how do we, what's good flower care? And one of the best things you can do is change your vase. Like every couple of days, fresh water in there. If you have flower food, put it in. If not, it's fine. Like just make sure your vase is clean, put fresh water and keep it lasting longer. Recut stems if you need to. Mm-hmm. Roses are really good for long-lasting. Carnations are great for longer-lasting flowers. Some flowers can last long if you cut the stem and keep them going. You can make them last longer too. There's like a lot of local flowers that we get. Dahlias are really good. They're really hardy. Some of them can last a while. But generally, like, we do get like a really good amount of people call us back and be like, that was the longest ever flower arrangement we've ever had. And good. I think a lot of it to do is because we order twice a week, and the product that we have is it comes in and then it's out the door. We don't sit on product for a long time. And we're an independent florist, which means that we don't get told what to order in and get. We can have a lot of freedom with what we get. We can call our own local growers. We can call like our local wholesaler in Bloomsburg and get things different every week. And I think that's probably a lot to do with the shelf life of flowers too.
Right. If you're picking up a bouquet like at the grocery store or something, who knows how long it's already been sitting there.
Yes.
So that I'm sure that does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And answer one of my questions. I was going to ask where you're getting a lot of your flowers from.
So again, with the going back onto our brand and what we do differently is that we tend to work a lot with local growers. It's really important for me to get local stuff and support people in the area. And there's a lot of local growers in Mifflinburg. We actually work with a couple of local growers in the area too, one in Williamsport and the Greensmith Flower Farm, which is in Selinsgrove. And we get a lot of product from them. They're awesome too. So we have like really good relationships with our growers in the area, and they're my go-to, especially in the growing months. From like the spring to the end of fall, we can get a lot of things local. Outside of local growing times, which is now, we go through a company called Lilies, and they're based out in Bloomsburg. It's about 30 minutes away from here, and they get a lot of things from Miami, Holland, all kinds of Ecuador, Colombia, all the southern hemisphere growing flowers get shipped up to Miami, then trucked up to Central PA. So there's a lot involved in where they come from.
I was curious. I was going to ask, do you import any from the UK at all yourself?
No, I wish I could. Yeah, no, we obviously, when I go back, the climate is so mild that things grow year round. I mean, when I go back in the winter, I see hydrangea still, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah, here the temperature, as you can see this week, fluctuates so much. It's really hard to grow anything, and unless you have like a industrial sized greenhouse. So when I do go back, I love seeing what they have, and there is more of an abundance of flowers. They're actually cheaper too in Europe than they are here because you don't have to ship them in as well. So I know California grow a lot, and there's like Trader Joe's, for example. They have their own growers in California, so their flowers are really cheap, and so they can afford to do that. But around here, supporting local growers is really important for us. So yeah, stems might be a little bit more expensive, but it goes to a good cause.
Absolutely.
And that's really important for me.
Yeah.
That's been, I mean, we've always been about
supporting
local small businesses, and it's nice to see that, especially in the Mifflinburg area, that is coming back.
It is,
especially in your section of Mifflinburg. There's a lot of new places going in, and I know there's a group of people who are attempting to bring more small businesses in.
That's great.
I feel like that is one like diamond in the rough thing that the pandemic did, is it made people band together and really support each other in small communities rather than go out.
Do you not think it's a generational thing too? Younger people coming in, supporting one another, making it easier to be like, well, actually, I really can get on board with your vision and what you do, and your beliefs are very similar to mine. Mifflinburg Innovation Works are awesome. They're a property development company in downtown Mifflinburg, and they have several properties down there, and they have really helped me to grow as an entrepreneur, and my fellow businesses down there too. 45 West also shares the building with me. There's Nikki at Gable House. She has her own building down there, but she's a really great resource for me as well. A new tattoo place moved in, so there's like lots of like up and coming millennials, millennial generation, people moving in and being like, oh wow, like this is great, like we can all support one another and help. And Pompeii Soap is another one too, like they're great, they're a really great resource as well. So
yeah, it's nice to see the shops actually have things in them, and
and I was trying to remember if that was how we originally got in contact with you, was through, I think, Lance and Lou. And I know
we had them on already.
We've had them on. But I know they have been trying to grow in Mifflinburg and bring smaller businesses in, and it was just how they do things. It was, hey, you should talk to Ethan, and hey, Ethan, we mentioned this to Sarah. That she should reach out to you, so you may be hearing from her, and here's what she's doing. So I would agree with you that our generation seems to be looking out for each other and encouraging small businesses.
Absolutely.
And as well as you have to have a really good relationship with your landlord too, and vice versa. He has to trust me, and so moving into a business that you don't, and moving into a building that you don't own is like scary, because you're like, oh my gosh, I have this vision, I don't own this building, how is this going to work out? Like, and Lance and Mifflinburg Innovation Works have really, really helped me they trusted me and like, just do what you want, and we're not going to up your rent crazy, just have at it. Like,
run your business,
do your thing, we believe in you. And having people like that really helps.
Having just a little bit of extra support and knowing that you're able to do it the way you want without super high restrictions. Perfect. Now, do you have a favorite floral design, or do you what's your inspiration behind like each design that you do, or is it just whatever comes to you as you're working?
Well, predominantly our work, I'd say, is like very organic. We don't really do a ton of like roundy-moundy designs. So I do have a style, which is, I would say, like a very whimsy, organic style. With the designs that we do every week is completely different. So if I buy in some vases that I think are funky or different, and then I'll want to put a design in them. So it just depends on what we have in. We get new stuff like every week, and then depends on what the growers bring in. what they're working on. They get really excited of like a different variety of peony, and they're like, oh my gosh, what do you think of like these colors? Like, what can we do with this? So it just depends like from week to week. But it's great because then I don't get bored, and like it's just like something different every week, and then our customers don't get bored. They're like, what's in this week? And they're like, oh, we have these great, you know, dahlias from this farm that came in, and they're orange or they're brown or whatever. And it's just nice to work with different stuff.
And like you said, it doesn't get boring. You're not doing the same things over and over and over again. Now, do you have a favorite flower that you like to use? Is your favorite flower the same favorite flower that you like to work with?
Yeah, so I do get inspired more from working with things I do enjoy, and I'll buy in what I like to work with. I love all flowers, but I do have a couple of favorites. Peonies, obviously, I feel like everyone's favorite flower, which is one of my favorite flowers too. They're just so fragrant and beautiful and fluffy. And the only thing is their shelf life is like 3 or 4 days, and then they're done. But they are beautiful, and their growing season is very brief. So it's always like when they're in season, the end of May, June, everyone like buys them, everyone goes crazy, and then they're just gone again because they're so expensive to buy in on the off season. So I do love peonies. The other one of my favorite flowers are dahlias, and they grow the end of summer through, I want to say, mid to late fall, depending on the last season was like really mild, so they were here until I want to say like early November last year. And they grow, and they come in different varieties of, you know, shapes and sizes, colors. There's so many of them, so and I do like working with those too. So dahlias and peonies are my favorite.
Not lilies.
Not lilies, believe it or not. We actually don't buy in a lot of lilies because people have cats, and and also like I feel like they're kind of dated. We don't really, even though it's my name, like Gilly's Lilies, but whatever.
I don't think lilies have a great smell either.
And they although they are breeding, the growers are trying to change the smell of you'd be surprised due to
I didn't know that was a thing.
You can genetically modify a flower now, so.
Oh my goodness.
Before this I was in the landscaping side of things before insurance, and when I was told that they would do tree grafting, I was like, excuse me, what? I'm like, oh yeah, we put this tree and then we cut a hole in that and we put another tree in it, and then it grows and it makes like this ridiculous tree. Whole new tree.
It's amazing.
So that surprised me. So it doesn't surprise me that they can do that. They can do that.
The new thing now is that they're breeding naturally blue flowers. So like that's like the new thing that you can buy in now is like naturally blue flowers that are very, very, like a very vivid blue, like certain hues of blue that you can never get naturally, but like somehow they're making these flowers that can have like this hue of color that you it's crazy. It's intense.
That's interesting. Now, do you just do fresh cut flowers? Do you do dried flowers? Do you do anything else other than just fresh cut?
We predominantly do fresh cut. I love working with dried flowers too. So fresh and dried is mainly what we work with. We don't tend to do like the silk permanent flowers. There's a lot of other businesses in the area doing that, so we always refer them to those, those florist shops that specialize in that. But we do mainly fresh flowers and dried flowers. Again, that's like a preference. I just prefer working with them, and I don't really prefer working with silk flowers. There's no fun in it.
It's not as pretty.
I like to get my hands dirty. Really smell.
Has been your most challenging request?
Okay. Good question. Probably weddings and hanging florals. I think a few years ago was my first time doing hanging florals. So that was really challenging for me because there's definitely, with floral design, there's an element of engineering that's involved. And if you want to hang flowers in a certain spot, you've got to think, well, I got to have hooks and I've got to have wire and I've got to somehow balance this right so it doesn't fall over or swing around, or the weight distribution has to work. And so there's like a lot of engineering in that.
It's like the Rose Bowl parade.
Yeah.
When all those have like all those flowers, and I'm like, how are these flowers? Like, how do they make these out of flowers? It's amazing what you can do.
Yeah. So that was probably the challenging request, but when people ask about hanging florals now, I'm like, oh, I can do that in my sleep, because I've just done it for so long that now we do it often enough. But I would love to do bigger challenges. There's just not a lot of, if I was in a city, I probably would have more, event work and corporation stuff or hotels or something, but there's not a lot in this area that specialize in different events, bigger events, but I'm always open to a challenge. Like,
you need to apply for the Rose Bowl parade.
Yeah, there you go.
You'll get a whole float.
What's the Central Pennsylvania equivalent to the Rose Bowl parade? Like, what?
We got to make one.
You should have a flower festival.
There we go.
I don't know if we have one.
We don't, but there's no saying you couldn't do one. Like,
yeah,
could be great.
I mean, squat goals.
Now, when people come to you for weddings, is it usually they want everything? Like, they want centerpieces, they want like boutonnieres, they want everything?
Yeah, so most of the people that we have, we do the full wedding. So we do the centerpieces, the arbor pieces, all of the everything, the wedding party, the boutonnieres, the corsages, bouquets. We do have some people that just want to elope, and we'll just have smaller packages, like with your boutonniere, that kind of thing, bouquets. But yeah, most of our clients, they
take care of
everything.
Perfect.
I just find it, and I know this is probably not a question that you guys have talked about yet, but are you finding with like AI now that people are coming to you with certain things that probably not in what you guys do, but we get clients sometimes that send me pictures, and I'm like, that's not real.
Oh my.
Like they type in like wedding flowers with like white and pink, and then some people will AI generate a picture, and then they'll show me a picture, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a real flower. Like, that's AI. Like, that's not real.
Oh my god.
So like now we have to kind of dial in on a lot on that. So I'm really intrigued to see where this industry is moving to a little bit with other types of things, because like I'm like, oh wow, like I've never seen that picture before. Like, where did this come from?
Right? Are people like frustrated, like when you tell them that's not real?
A little. Like, Pinterest has always been around. So like when people see pictures on Pinterest, they show you like, oh, I want this arbor piece which is covered in flowers that probably is like $7,000 at least to like make, and we have a budget of $1,500, and it's like, well, you're not going to get all these flowers. Like, it's just, you have to work a lot with people's budgets, which is fine, but the imaging, it's like, I don't even know where to go with that. It's like, well, it's not real. So, like,
that's so crazy.
But I think photographers too, especially wedding photographers, I think they're probably going to have the same issue with like clients coming to them being like, I want this look. And it's like, a robot did that. Like, we can't do that. So I think the wedding industry is going to change a little bit.
Yeah.
With AI and where that's going to.
It's going to make your job a little more difficult.
It's going to make it a little bit more difficult, but our pictures are our own, and we stand by that, and we'll never ever do AI pictures. Like, that's not a brand, it's not a product, so we're not going to put that out there. But
why would you try to offer something to somebody that you can't do?
You'd be surprised how many people do that.
Oh my gosh.
You'll be surprised. I mean, I scroll through Instagram, I'm like, that is not a real product. Like, that's AI generated, that's not a real picture of...
That's scary.
It is scary. And it's also like, I don't know if it's illegal, because... it's technically not your work, and you're sharing it as your work.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
So
who knows that part of it? Yikes.
It's a little... The chat GTP part, that can be useful.
Yes. Right.
But it is scary.
Yeah. It is scary.
It is, and I know, I have heard of the version of chat GTP where you type in whatever picture you want, and it will just make it
generate it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would not have suspected that actually being
it's really
challenge,
affecting a lot of the creative world, not just like florals, but artistic world. And then like if you even want to go further, now you have NFTs, which like sidetrack, but like as a fine artist, I get contacted all the time. I want to buy this as an NFT. No. like, because it's not even real. Like, it's literally an image of an image that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy, and there's not, because it's so new, there's not a whole lot of regulation, so it really does affect a lot of companies that are creative and design based a lot right now. It is starting to move into more service based things. So as the marketing director, it's something I read about every year for us, because even though it's really not affecting us now, it's coming.
Oh yeah, right.
It's coming.
So we're gonna have to pivot a little bit and decide, where do we want it to go? I mean, even when you type in now with Canva, which is like the software app that you can use for, making like a statement for a design or something, like you type in what you want to make and it'll just generate it for you. And this is what I want it to say. These are the colors I want. I want a picture of a flower in the background, and then it'll just make it for you, and then you download it and put it on Instagram.
And for like service-based industries, it's basically like people think they're talking to somebody who's there, and they're not. It's a robot. It's a computer.
Right.
And for us, it's really off-brand because we're about real people servicing people.
Yeah.
So it's it's something. It's going to change how everybody works in the world eventually.
Yeah. There's funeral homes that do it in this area, and it really throws me off. I don't know if you guys have had any experience with funeral homes, but I would call a funeral home and it's like someone who's not real that answers the phone straight away, and they sound like a human.
Whoa.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, it's like, I think
Oh my God.
So they pay, so funeral homes like pay someone to like manage their like website and down flowers and everything. And so when you call a number, it's like a generic number that goes to where would you want to go, but they sound so human on the phone. And I'm like trying to do a delivery, and I'm like going into like, oh, where am I going? I have this like delivery the flower, and I'm like talking away, and they're like, let me put you through to someone else. Like, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this person's
like, you are not real.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like a trippy movie.
Yeah. It's
oh my goodness.
To get used to that, I guess.
So you do deliver then?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do local deliveries. We don't have a wire service, which is sending flowers out of state. We don't have that, but I can happily, if you come in or we're struggling to find a different florist in the area outside of wherever you want to be, I'll help you to get to a real florist, not someone that's going to like take your money in a different country and then wire it somewhere else. So yeah, we do help with that, but local deliveries around 15 miles. We do lots in Lewisburg area, Mifflinburg, Montandon. We do Middleburg.
Okay.
So yeah,
pretty decent. Like distance then. Yeah. Okay. What's your most common request from clients?
I always get just like I said before, like something for $50, like just make it pretty, or this for this occasion. So that's like the general request.
So it's more common for people to just say, here's my budget.
Here's my budget. This is where it's for. If it's for a sympathy, we'll send something with maybe more whites, yellows, blues. If it's for a birthday, we'll do something more vibrant. So yeah, just generally everyday requests is probably our most common thing that we get for every day.
Okay. Now, hitting up the gentlemen who are listening in the upcoming Valentine's Day, is there a time frame that you guys would like to have? Like, I know because it's going to be a busy time. I'm not talking to you.
We accommodate for everyone. We're starting to get in Valentine's Day orders now.
Okay.
We'll probably take our we usually like a day or two before Valentine's Day. We'll take the online down so people can't do online orders, and then we might have like things ready in the clothes that people might, because we're always prepared in case people
so like, oh, that's today.
Like, majority of the time it's last minute, which is fine. So we do try and cater for everyone.
Okay.
But yeah, the sooner the better, but if not, that's okay. Like we'll make it work.
I took the hint.
I'm sure I'm still gonna get my wise rose.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. We'll judge.
But at least he got it.
There you go. Yeah.
I stopped getting you flowers for a while because you just killed them right away.
I don't know. I'm not good with plants.
Okay.
See, there you go.
Plants and I just don't get along.
So I don't know if it's the ghost lady in the house or just that we live on the main street or whatever. I grew up with a family that grew flowers and vegetables and everything from seeds under black lights in the basement. I know how to grow stuff. I can't keep anything alive in my house. We get arrangements. I change out the water. I clip the stems.
Yeah.
I give the food if it has the food. I do all the things, and they die. Like most of the time. Like some of them don't even bloom. Like if I remember specifically one time, Josh did bring home like a beautiful bouquet of roses, but like some were blooming and some were still like buds. The buds never even opened up. It just died.
Interesting. Okay. Recut the stem on an angle. Change your water in your vase. Maybe it's a little cold in there. Like, what's the temperature at in your house?
Like usually between 68 and 70. So yeah,
I know. Yeah. I feel like I want to come and like see this now. Like, wait a minute. Is this a mystery?
The only thing that has managed to survive is I have an African violet that the kids bought me for Mother's Day several years ago that I've managed to keep alive, and an orchid that is like now 5 years old.
See, I can't keep orchids. They always die on me, so.
I'm amazed that this orchid is still alive. It's got like nine blossoms on it at this point. It's like taking off right now. And I'm doing everything it says to do, but I was like, I cannot believe out of all the flowers I've had in this house, you're the survivor. Like, I'll take it, but like...
Yeah. There you go. So only the complicated things can grow.
Yeah, apparently.
But your simple bouquets.
Your simple rose bouquets.
So what's the significance of cutting the stems at an angle?
So they really like to hydrate, obviously, from the stem. And so the more surface area for flowers, the better it is, the more they can you know, bring up. So yeah, cutting on an angle is always good to do. So there's more surface area so they can drink.
That makes sense.
Hydrangeas drink through their leaves, their petals.
Oh.
So spray, like a spray bottle of water too, just spray the top of the flowers.
I've always wondered why some of them say to spray it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes with hydrangea too, you bring them into your house and they look great for like 2 hours and they're like, wah. It could be because like they need to hydrate through their leaves.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
I clearly do not.
I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, the internet's really good, and there's like lots of apps now that can help you.
Right, I think there's a thing, like if you take a picture on your phone, like of a flower, you can pull up like what kind of flower it is, and then kind of go from there. Yeah, it's helpful because I'm terrible with any sort of.
And a lot of people are getting into buying houseplants now, and that's like a thing that people are really into. So we don't have as many plants just because in where we are in Mifflinburg, there's lots of great local greenhouses. So I always just send people up there and get whatever they need to get. We'll get in like rarer plants if people are struggling to find certain plants, but it's like a big thing that people are really into. Yeah. Especially, again, with our generation, millennials and yeah, it's a really big thing.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, not in our house because they die.
You can take care of them. You had a bonsai tree for a little bit.
That's cool.
I rescued a cherry tree one time.
It did not last.
One of the companies I worked for, it was Japanese based, and they had like a big conference, and they wanted to gift the president of the company a cherry tree, but when the person who purchased the cherry tree brought it, they felt that it was too asymmetrical and too like wimpy, so they tossed it in the dumpster and bought another one. I was like, wow. So there I am hauling that thing out of the dumpster after all of it, and my heart was sticking out the back.
I do that at the Green Waste place in Mifflinburg. So like if I go and like take like my clippings, like I go and I'm like, what can I pull out of here? They think I'm crazy. I'm like, don't do that. I'm like climbing up the piles.
It's so sad. It's like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. It's so wasteful.
I know. Yeah. No, there's a lot of waste with in the industries. You have to be careful. I mean, we try our best to be we get local stuff, so we try environmentally to have, you know, more of a conscientious effort of where our flowers are coming from, you know, that kind of thing. So we do, part of the reason is that we get a lot of local growers because I am a big environmentalist and we do believe that that's really good to have. And then we always recycle our green waste, we recycle our cardboard, so we do try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of waste in the floral industry. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give someone interested in becoming a floral designer?
That's a good question. I had to write this down because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that you could do. Just embrace being creative. Constantly go places that inspire you to be creative. Do things that you enjoy doing. Have really good... As well as being creative, you also have to have a really good understanding of people and really good communication skills. I feel like with anything art related, I'm sure you have to have a really good relationship with your client. So for me, it's good to kind of get a little bit of a background on who you're designing for or who you paint for or whatever. It's like you want to have that good communication with someone and expectations are the same, so they come to you for a specific type of floral design, but then also like having the communication skills to fit a brief of a wedding or a different event of, you know, a birthday party, or who they are, a sympathy arrangement, for instance. Like, who was this person? Did they enjoy gardening? Did they have a certain flower color that they really liked? So yeah, having a really good communication with your people around you is good, but then also just do things that inspire you and keep practicing. There's lots of things online that you can download. I mean, TikTok's great for anything now. You can like Google anything or YouTube and it'll come up and people can see what they're doing. I mean, most of the things that I do self-taught, so being around people that are also very passionate about what you do also helps too. So
do you still offer the
workshops?
Workshops?
Yeah,
so
there's so
they can come take your workshop.
Yes, come take workshops. We do plenty. Yeah.
Oh, please, there are workshops?
I know.
Yeah.
I will totally take them. Like,
so we're currently working on our 2024 workshop list, but we get asked all the time, when's your next workshop? Who's doing what? So that's the next thing we're doing. We're doing renovations, which is making more space for workshops, and then I'm going to have a workshop list of what we're going to be doing. But I think spring planters with bulbs, with fresh flowers we're going to be doing, and then we do a few things in the summer, and then fall we do, you know, winter centerpieces, that kind of thing as well. So make a wreath. Our wreath making workshops were really busy.
Oh, I bet.
Last year, so.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. See, skip buying me a bouquet and just sign me up for a workshop.
Ticket.
See, that would be more my thing than having a bouquet. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
And you're getting an experience too. You can hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
We have snacks and all that kind of fun stuff. Be ready if you need to, you know.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So for Valentine's Day, I should not get you flowers and just get you...
Whenever she has her workshops, that's what
all the workshops.
I'll let you know. I'll send you the
That'll be good.
Yeah, we'll have to share that whenever you have your list available. Let us know.
We can share it on our page.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I just assumed you knew that she did that.
I had no idea. No. See, we're here to learn.
I know we're here to learn. So that's a good plug. I'm glad that I mentioned that.
Yeah. Now, is there anything that we didn't touch base on that you feel like our listeners need to know, either about you or about your business or?
No, I think we talked about some really good stuff.
Perfect.
Everything I wanted to talk about, I think we talked about. So, yeah.
Sounds
I'd
good.
love to come back and do it again at some point.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being here and sharing everything with us. And as always, we thank our listeners for, tuning in with us. And do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Catch you in the next one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
If you liked what you heard in this episode, be sure to follow Pennsylvania Life, Legends, and Lore on your preferred podcast platform to stay up to date on new content. Pennsylvania Life, Legends, and Lore is produced by Harv Productions, LLC.